What's up, YouTube boy? Yo, so back again for another video, man. Today we got a video uploaded by New Rockstars. This is the Miss Marvel trailer breakdown, Easter eggs, and details you missed. Now, we watched the Miss Marvel trailer yesterday. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't the most impressed with what I saw, but there were some questionable shots and some questionable directions by which this series seems to be taken. So I want to see what Eric Voss over at New Rockstars has to say. Before we get into it, this is a long one. Let's go ahead, you know what I'm saying, get your little water, get your little snack or whatever, you know what I'm saying, relax, like the video, go ahead, subscribe, and let's see what Eric has to say over at New Rockstars. But before we do that, let me know down below in the comments, how's your day? Hopefully it was pretty good, but if it wasn't, somehow, some way, this makes it better. Let's go.
New Rockstars, I'm Eric Voss, and this is a breakdown of the trailer for Miss Marvel, introducing Kamala Khan as the new MCU hero taken directly from my high school years.
Another adventure shirt, cute.
Not today, Mephisto. I am really digging the
still holding
vibes
on
of
to
this
that.
series, and its trailer is filled with subtle clues for what.
And my favorite thing about the trailer wasn't even the trailer, it was like the music in the trailer. They used the song by The Weeknd, Blinding Lights. Love that song.
Could really be going on here, so I'm gonna break it all down frame by frame.
And they changed their powers. I wonder if I'm gonna get copyrighted for this music.
Okay, so first off, I just want to say, I get it.
You get what?
We open with Kamala's diary, in which she doodles this pig flying into space as she wishes she could be among the stars and one day will be. This might actually be her stuffed animal that we see later on her bed. Coming from a devout Muslim family, she's not supposed to eat pork, but as we saw in the comics, she still loves to smell bacon, calling it delicious, delicious infidel meat.
Oh
First
my
introduced in the
gosh.
2013 Captain Marvel comics, Kamala Khan shortly after got her own solo series in 2014, where we saw a Terrigen mist bomb enveloped her and caused her to envision her heroes, Captain Marvel, Iron Man, and Captain America, and she emerged from that cocoon, emulating the appearance of her hero Carol Danvers, but with the powers to embiggen her limbs until she realized she could just be herself and maintain that stretchy ability in her own form and appearance. Now, Terrigenesis is actually the process by which Inhumans are formed, as we saw with Quake in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but the MCU version of Kamala Khan might be going in a different direction.
That's what I'm saying, like, this
also,
is,
you'll notice among her doodles is Ant-Man versus Man-Ant, with Scott Lang having some fleshy human limbs on that segmented body.
I didn't pick that up.
Ant alive. There's also a note for driving lesson today, an essay due on the 19th, scratch that, the 16th, and a reminder to include references and quotes, and a drawing of herself calling this all boring. I also like the little glimpse of Kamala's fashion with her index fingernail painted a different color. Then we move past a world history textbook showing ancient Egypt on the cover, a corner of the world that will be explored even sooner on Moon Knight. And then we glide into Kamala's fantasy escapism in the form of her drawings, the Marvel Studios title card within her comic booky
I liked it. That was
kind of
cool.
Itself condenses into a hand-drawn version of that, depicting how Kamala sees her whole world through the filter of her own imagination. Now, covering footage with animated sound effect words, action lines, word bubbles, which you'll notice spill out from beyond that frame, is the kind of aesthetic that we saw in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
That's what it is.
Into the Spider-Verse, and now to see it in the MCU,
Scott Pilgrim versus the World. That's what it reminded me of a lot. You know what I'm saying?
It's a really vibrant choice that not only takes us inside Kamala's mind, but hints at the way her physical powers are actually manifested from her wish fulfillment. Like Wanda Maximoff, her inner world becomes everyone else's physical reality. Now, Kamala's guidance counselor is Mr. Wilson. His name is likely a nod to G. Willow Wilson, who wrote these Miss Marvel comics, and is also referenced in that desk divider being labeled GWW. Now, if you grew up collecting Pokemon or Magic the Gathering cards and want something to scratch that competitive collecting itch, Raid Shadow Legends.
I thought he was about to. I thought he was about to explain that whole GWW thing, but he just went on to sponsors.
Posters like that. All of this treasure will be waiting for you.
I thought that was a good segue, man, because I thought he was about to talk about whatever that GWW thing was. But he was talking about a sponsor.
His office is filled with motivational posters like that classic "Hang in there, kitty," and then on the door, "You can totally do this." He's also got tissues on his desk for students who come in crying or because as we saw in No Way Home, getting into the right college could be a pretty stressful thing. Now, this might just
No Way Home just came out too
writes her lowercase
on
G's
Prime.
in her word bubbles. It's just interesting. Circles connected by a straight line. I don't know. I've never seen G's written this way,
Yeah, me
but I also
neither.
don't know how those Gen Zers are doing it these days. But to me, this at least looks like the middle portion of the Pym Tech logo, circles connected by lines. Could just be another example of how Kamala is really into Ant-Man, as we saw in her diary, and specifically Ant-Man's Pym Tech enabled ability to embiggen. Moving on.
High school.
Kamala. Another adventure shirt.
Kamala.
Cute. She thinks I'm some kind of weirdo.
You are weirdo. Boys. Excuse me.
Yeah.
You're kind of on my shirt.
Sorry.
Okay, we get this really cool shot of the clock.
See, like, the trailer was so interesting in the fact I felt like I never saw most of that footage before. Like, I didn't understand what was going on. Like, I don't know what it was. The trailer, it just, maybe I was too enraptured in listening to the music. That's what it was. Because I feel like I didn't recognize any of that. Like, but I just saw the trailer the other day.
Rotating counterclockwise as we anchor on the minute hand, flying through the day. Much like Peter Parker in the opening sequence of Spider-Man Homecoming, Kamala Khan just spends her whole school day staring at the clock, waiting for it to end. Behind her is a poster reading, Dustin for Perez, he's a very good choice. Dustin Berry was actually the set decorator / set buyer for this series, along with Ant-Man and another Ant-Man starring movie, Civil War. But look at you, you made yourself MCU canon, Dustin Berry. You go, Dustin Berry. The girl Zoe Zimmer deliberately mispronounces Kamala and disses her shirt. Zoe's actually from the Miss Marvel comics, popular girl whom Kamala ends up saving from the Hudson River, and the two become really good friends, especially with Zoe even developing a crush on Kamala's Turkish-American friend, Nakia Bahadir, seen here, alongside Bruno Corelli. Now, Kamala's Avenger shirt reads, "Ladies, let's get informational, with Captain Marvel and Wasp and Valkyrie all wearing glasses. Of course, a play on Olivia Newton-John's
Valkyrie, so this is after...
inspired by these women and all the others leading that final charge in Endgame. And yeah, Evangeline Lilly, based on your recent comments, let's definitely get informational, please. Come on.
Shots fired. Shoot. Eric Voss, New Rockstars has made a stance. What did she say? Didn't she say something that was like anti, like, I don't know if it was anti-vaccine, right? But I know she said something, you know, talking about the whole Rona thing, you know what I'm saying? It's very divisive now on the internet, especially like having an opinion on the you know what I'm saying, the shot. And what I'm not even supposed to be talking about that, but you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's crazy what we've come to now in society.
Let's see Zoe with devil horns, and I just gotta say, between this and the devil horns in No Way Home, at this point, it honestly feels like Marvel Studios is just Mephisto trolling me, to which I would say, he sees you. He sees all. In the Circle Q store, Kamala and Bruno stand beside this Captain Marvel cosplay outfit with a, looks like a papier-mâché mask. I think Kamala made this. Now, Bruno actually works at this location in the comics. Kamala uses it as her unofficial headquarters. Then at a party, Kamala does some true Scott Pilgrim ogling at Cameron, who looks like he just hopped out of that pool despite everyone else wearing outerwear. Maybe the guy got pushed in or jumped in on a dare, or just thirst trapping all these girls. In the comics, Cameron was actually hit with that same Terrigen mist that gave Kamala her powers, causing Cameron to develop an ability where he emits a bluish energy from his body and then channels electrical energy into objects that cause him to glow and explode. He was later recruited by the villain Lineage, framing him here with that blue-tinted steam over the pool could be a nod to his Terrigen Mist origins and his powers. Nakia has tied her headscarf into this beautiful bun, and as they stare at Cameron, notice poor Bruno off to the side, clearly feeling inadequate. No one talks about Bruno, no. Don't worry, kid. You got a bright future ahead of you making YouTube videos, forcing Lin-Manuel tracks to make the viewers cringe. Also, why am I advising a fictional character? Next clip.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I've had a recurring thought.
Why are you advising a fictional character, Eric Voss?
But you're staring out the window in your little fantasy land.
Super romantic. I don't know. Something about her face in the mask looks weird.
Really? Come on.
Unless her hair is
I have
down.
to figure out my whole future before lunch, or it's really...
Okay, we get this great Euphoria-style shot swooping in on Kamala.
Did he say Euphoria?
Projector light beaming around her,
Haven't
right as we
watched
hear
it,
the
don't plan
weekend's
to.
blinding lights. Her
Yes.
head is totally casting a shadow on that screen, by the way. This is actually the same kind of lighting and framing used in WandaVision to introduce that Skrull who introduced Monica Rambeau in the movie theater projector light. And I do think we will see some Skrulls appear in this Miss Marvel series to set up the Secret Invasion series. Then the frame cuts back into that hand-drawn inner frame of Kamala's imagination, showing her fantasy suited up in the Captain Marvel outfit. But the one from the beginning of Endgame, the red on top, not the blue topped one that Carol changed into in the final battle and wore in that Shang-Chi post-credit scene, So
Got
this fantasy is specifically the Captain Marvel who saved Iron Man, and she strikes a classic Black Widow superhero pose.
Right.
Nice. Another fantasy shows her suited up, but wearing tiara and carrying roses like the homecoming queen, and then a shot of Cameron on his car with roses, flower petals
Porsche?
raining down from nowhere. This is like Kamala's American Beauty fantasy, and I feel just as uncomfortable looking at it. Let's move on.
All right.
Maybe they're right.
This series is, I don't know, man.
In Fantasyland.
Fantasy.
Okay,
And
Kamala
supporting
and Bruno
parents.
sit on the roof of this building. That neon sign from the other side actually reads Madison. That first letter is an M there. But beneath their
Okay.
feet is a poster or a painting that I think reads Iron Man there. So like Peter Parker's
Really?
world, she's just surrounded by iconography of Iron Man and reminders of how he's dead. And again with the steam. There's just lots of mist in this trailer for a story that seemingly won't use Terrigen Mist to give Kamala Khan her powers. Who knows? Terrigen Mist may be behind all of this. We see some shots of Kamala and her family praying at their mosque. And then Kamala and Bruno at this display of a sparkly Captain Marvel costume. The signs in her badge necklace read New Jersey Avengers. Looks like some kind of expo or convention, which might be like that A-Day celebration in the Avengers game that Kamala attends in San Francisco, where a terrorist attack overloads a Terrigen energy crystal powering that helicarrier that ends up releasing a mist that ends up giving Kamala her powers. You'll notice
Right.
Kamala also wears a Captain Marvel patch on her jacket. The later shot of her on her bike shows this is a green canvas jacket, much like Carol Danvers' flight suit, and it even has that same Air Force test pilot patch on the
That's
sleeve.
cool.
Kamala's mother, Muniba Khan, criticizes her costume. That may lead Kamala to defying her parents to attend that convention to show off her cosplay. Really how she gets into all that trouble. Moving on.
All
It's
right.
not really the brown girls from Jersey City who save the world.
Now this whole bracelet thing is interesting because
Okay, interesting
not-
shots here of Kamala
yeah.
snooping around an attic with a flashlight where she finds his chest filled with files and in which she finds these bracelets. These glow when Kamala snaps them on, and you'll notice they have this star-burst icon on the cuff, similar to the astral iconography of the Kree that Captain Marvel emulates as her logo.
Oh, is
Now,
it
in the
like
reaction,
Kree
I wondered if
weaponry?
These could be the nega bands from the Captain Marvel comics given to
Nega
Captain Marvel by
bands.
the Kree Supreme Intelligence that ends up really trapping Captain Marvel in the negative zone. Should be a really cool way to bring in the Fantastic Four potentially into the MCU. But based on the
Ooh.
powers they give Kamala Khan, they could also be Quasar's quantum bands, which have similar energy
Quasar.
projection powers. I'll just say that
I've
the
heard of them.
design on the cuffs suggests that these come from some kind of alien race, extraterrestrial origin. Personally, I'm getting more Kree vibes. We don't know whose
Okay.
attic this is or why Kamala came up here, but nearby are some lab coats and some lab equipment and a few dollhouse miniatures. One could see more parallels with Hank Pym, who has a history of shrinking down buildings to miniature size, or even with Howard Stark, who had a miniature Stark Expo in his home. But my theory is that this
Yeah.
attic could belong to someone in Kamala's community who might be revealed as a Skrull in hiding. Remember, the Skrull Talos,
Like who?
posing as Nick Fury in Spider-Man Far From Home, hinted at a Skrull Kree shadow war currently being waged.
I thought Kree having sleeper cells was top secret information.
These bracelets could have been Kree weapons of mass destruction,
Right.
stolen
See, that's what I was
and hidden
thinking.
by a Skrull on Earth, and then accidentally discovered by Kamala, thinking they were just cool additions to her cosplay, but then they accidentally power her up into a Kree-powered superhero like her hero, Captain Marvel, which would be what draws Kamala into the Kree-Skrull conflict that Monica Rambeau is now joining the Skrull faction of, based off that WandaVision post-credit scene, which would explain how all these three come together in the Marvels next year. Just my
Alright.
theory there.
Alright.
Little SU detail there. I love when Kamala first powers up and her eyes glow purple pink. Right behind her is a statue of Rocket Raccoon
that's
from that
pretty cool.
Avengers Expo. Just a little clue pointing to, despite this being an Earthbound story, we are dealing with truly cosmic implications here.
And she even
When
says
falls
cosmic.
Backwards, she passes some other cosplayers. You can see an Iron Man, 2 different Captain America shields, and then the November footage actually showed a nebula here. But then she falls through the floor into a kind of sunken place, it looks like, but she ends up right side up, surrounded by a new crowd of figures. Who are these people?
Right.
Are they just a mirror reflection of the cosplayers?
Are those
Or
Kree?
are they someone else? Remember, Kree technology is neurally infused. The Supreme
Right.
Intelligence takes a different form to whomever sees it. And Carol Danvers' infusion through the Kree Tahiti process left her with false memories. So if these bracelets, these cuffs are Kree tech, Kamala in this moment could be mentally projected into the memories of the Kree warrior who last wore these. These others in this purpley realm could be past Kree on the planet Hala. And then Kamala
Okay.
could come out of
That's
that
what I was
state with
thinking,
those
like,
Kree
they could
powers
Kree.
manifesting her own inner desires. The way the Kree Supreme Intelligence, in a way, reflects something you deeply desire. And of course, these vibrant colors and energy waves definitely match the visuals we saw for Carol Danvers.
Yeah, I was
Power-Up
thinking
and
that
Monica
too.
Rambeau
Yeah,
passing
exactly.
through that radiation wall of Westview to become Photon. All three women empowered with the same kind of cosmic radiation. On to the next clip.
Did something happen to you?
No, why? Did you hear something?
Her powers kind of look like Green Lantern type abilities.
And Kamala, sitting at the table, envisions some light pouring into her home through a kind of portal and more mist. Now, I'm not sure if this is literal Terrigen mist or just mist in her mind, but mist! Her brother Amir and her father Yusuf check in on her. Her room is actually filled with Captain Marvel posters. By the door, more art of that pig, now a unicorn. Actually, over Kamala's bed is a poster of Captain Marvel showing a specific comic. This is Jerry Dodson's cover of Earth's Mightiest Hero #5. Then we see the Circle Q shop exploding. Oh no. And then Kamala looks at her glowing hands. This place with green walls and weapons in a case? I think this actually might be part of a trip Kamala takes to visit relatives in Pakistan, which would be where she meets the vigilante Red Dagger Kareem. All part of a process, perhaps, to train Kamala to be more of a hero. Kamala says her powers feel cosmic, another indicator that they're coming from the same cosmic radiation source as Monica Rambeau and Carol Danvers' powers. And we see what those look like. She projects these discs of energy that she uses to close doors and then lily pad through the air. Now again, in the comics, she's supposed to be able to stretch or embiggen her limbs. But actually, if you look closely at her last...
Guys, this is the first time I've ever actually, I'm really tired for some reason. I'm so, so, don't mind me if my eye just,
Jump here. Her arms and legs are totally stretching. This isn't like a Green Lantern energy covering her limbs. It's inside of her, stretching her body out. Moving on.
I was about to say, because yeah, it looks like Green Lantern type abilities are kind of what they gave her via the rings. I mean the bracelet, like lanterns with the rings. See, okay, it's stretched right there, big hands.
Okay, the trailer only hints at this shady group of people in black SUVs. I'm wondering if they could be part of some enforcement agency like the DODC, but in this case, maybe an agency tracking down Skrulls or Inhumans throughout society. We see another misty shot in an alley with these 4 mystery figures. There's a woman, a man, another woman, and another man. Now, I wonder if this group could actually be those Kree sleeper cell agents coming back to reclaim the cuffs, or maybe some Skrull agents coming to recruit her. But actually, you can see that woman on the far left appearing in the background behind Kamala in the wedding venue.
I promise you, I was
not an ongoing threat that goes after the Khan family, one that she has to take on in the middle of a relative's wedding. And then more shots showing Kamala's visit to Pakistan. A procession of people past a large fire, and then Kamala enters that green building that we saw earlier, following this woman who later asks if she knows what she is. This woman, according to closed caption, is named Najma. That could be the older relative who shelters Kareem and knows more about those cuffs. Skrull. And then Kamala and the vigilante Red Dagger, Kareem, fight or maybe just spar in this Pakistani train station. Notice the Urdu sign there.
What is his powers?
Smashes into that drink stand, and then cutting to a different scene where Kamala retracts the giant fist. This is at the wedding, where right after this we can see her dancing alongside Bruno. Bruno moving in. Bruno playing a pretty big role here, helping a wounded Cameron down the subway car as they both flee men in dark suits you can barely see in the car behind. So Cameron will also play a bigger role in this plot than simply being the hunky boy Kamala is into. He could be a new human, like he becomes in the comics, or maybe a Skrull, or a fellow Inhuman that Kamala must protect from that enforcement agency. Then a quick shot of a car getting blown off the ground by a colorful shockwave released by Kamala as she smashes another car.
That's crazy.
You can see her limbs stretched. She is totally going to be a shapeshifter in this series. Armored soldiers.
I was worried about that.
And then Kamala forms a shield to protect Cameron from gunfire. In the background are some school buses, suggesting this is going down outside that school. It's just so scary to see that shield breaking apart from some of the bullets, showing how Kamala is not yet mastering her powers. She still is in a lot of danger. All right, on to the final clip.
I'm a superhero.
Guys, I'm so tired.
Okay, after the title, our final shot shows Kamala sitting on that street light looking out at Manhattan, perfectly recreating of the cover of Miss Marvel #5. I just love how this compares to that earlier shot of her with her bike, staring out at the city with a sense of longing to be part of something bigger. But now, even after becoming a true superhero, she doesn't leave Jersey City for Manhattan. She stays. This is still her home. She's just looking at the city from a higher vantage point, like more of a guardian, protecting her turf from any threats from the big bad city or from beyond. Folks, I am super excited for this series, and of course, New Rock Rockstars is definitely going to be covering it when it drops on June 8th.
I
So
will
be
as
sure
well.
to subscribe to New Rockstars for all of our Marvel content.
Definitely.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at
EA
Boss.
Boss.
You can follow New Rockstars, of
That's
course.
so
Thank you
dope,
so much
EA
for
Boss.
watching, and bye-bye.
Y'all, this is the first time I've ever like been so sleepy, like I was like low-key was starting to kind of nod off here and there, because like it's raining right now. I don't know if you guys can hear it. It's raining. I got the fan on, so it's kind of cool. It's not too cold, though. I'm comfortable. I just ate like a lot. You know, I'm actually really tired, and like I'm scared though, because as soon as I hit the bed, I'm probably gonna fall asleep, and it's not even like 8 o'clock yet. But anyways, this shout out to the New Rockstars, man. Like I said, I wasn't super impressed with the trailer, but he did identify a lot of things and raise up some concerns I did have, because I was curious about this whole like how they changed their powers thing, and from the looks of the trailers, there weren't too many shots where it looked like she was actually like stretching, where her abilities were stretching, you know what I'm saying? And so I'm seeing that now, given he like freeze framed some of the shots and kind of went over and explained it in a new about way. So thank you very much for that over New Rockstars channel, Eric Voss. Shout out to you, man. With that being said, make sure you guys let me know how you feel about the series. Are you looking forward to it? I'm gonna check it out regardless, even if it's good or it gets bad reviews, or if it's bad and it gets, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Like I'm gonna watch it regardless because it's Marvel. So I got trust, I got faith in them. And nevertheless, she's also gonna be a pretty important character coming forward soon in the MCU phase, like what, 4 and 5, because she's about to be in the Marvels. I'm pretty sure she's, you know what I'm saying, they're kind of going to try to push her somewhat towards the forefront. So, hey, you know what I'm saying? I want to like her. Y'all let me know down below in the comments, though. What are your thoughts? Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Go follow New Rockstars. Like their stuff. Comment on their stuff. Subscribe to their channel. Come back over and do the same thing. Follow me on Twitch, YouTube. You can also follow me on Instagram at Leroy Says So. Same teacher channel. That being said, I'm out. Peace.